Welcome to the space where creators have aligned a positive and intellectual collab of open minds. For sharing and learning from one another, it's a vibe. ReadswithRosa podcast on the mic. Subscribe, educator spitting bars. I guess you didn't know I'm multifaceted and humble, checking off life goals. The classroom is my comfort zone where I plant and sow seeds of knowledge, compassion, empathy, and hope. Reading is the key to unlocking your potential. Countless benefits, including cognitive and mental. Regardless of the genre, books are highly influential. Go get yours, I'll get mine. Making strides, monumental. Come rock with me and get down to this new jam. Reaching out to my friends, I had a very simple plan. Educate the masses through books and life lessons. It's the grand slam. I'm out. Welcome to the Reads with Rosa podcast. On today's show, I am joined by a fellow educator. She is a wahine toa from Aotearoa, New Zealand, and she is an indigenous storyteller and the artist behind Podge Creations. Welcome to the show, Emily Ruane. Sis, how are you?
Boy, I don't know actually because this COVID shit just got everybody like messed up and stuff and school. I'm online at the moment actually.
Are you?
We're online. So Akura is like if you're a close contact, you're going home and you're online for like what is it, like 5 days or something? I think
so you guys are fully online. How long? How long have you been online for?
Not that long. Nah, we're not like fully online. It's like kind of like hybrid. So like
yes.
you can come back after you've done your like your quarantine, whatever the government says. It's like 4 days or something that for essential workers or whatever, like teachers or whatever, can come back. So once you've done that and you've got 2 negative antigen tests, you can come back and your kids can come back too, I think, within 2 days or 5 days or 7 days, I think. They also got to do antigen tests to come back. So
I tell you, man, it's stressful, sis.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, well, yeah. All we're doing is watching the news every day and seeing the numbers go up and up. And especially the scary one for me is the number, with the little kids, right? So the under 12s, the ones that haven't been like vaccinated. And I know a lot of like early childhood centers, have shut down. It's a worry. But we'll come back to teaching later on in the interview. I guess, before we go anywhere with this, with this kōrero, can I ask you to share, your whakapapa? Maybe pepeha, it's up to you, sis, or chikoshokai, whatever you're feeling, sis.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, sure. Ko waio, ko Emily Ruane tōku ingoa. Heuri tēnei no te hiko te ika. Ko Māori te waka, ko tāwhitirahi te maunga, ko te awa puka te awa, ko pārengarenga te moana, ko pōtahi te tūranga waiwai, ko waimirirangi haere ki tērā, te whare nui, ko rua nui te tangata, ko te pauri tōku iwi. So my name is Emily. I'm from the far north. I was raised in Te Kau, which is probably 30 or so minutes, 40 minutes from the North Cape, from Cape Reinga at the tip top. My mountain is called Tāwhitirahi. My waka or my canoe is called Māmari. My body of water or ocean is called Pārengarenga. My river is Te Awa Puka. My tūranga waiwai, I suppose, like my whenua, sort of my standing and grounding place is called Pōtahi, and our ancestral house is called Waimirirangi Haere Ki Tērā, which is a sister to whānau in Panguru, which their marae is actually called Waimirirangi, which is a choice. What else? Our rangatira is called Ruane, and our iwi is called Te Aupori. So that's where I'm from. That's where my roots lie. That's where all my whānau is. And whenever I go home from Japan, that's where I go. So yeah.
Kia ora, sis. Kia ora. That was great. How did you end up in Japan? Yeah, how did you end up here? Was it something that was always in the plan? Was it an opportunity that came up?
It was definitely not in the plan. It was very off the cuff. It was very random. I was at university still. I graduated and I was working part-time and studying part-time. And it was kind of coming to an end. And it was sort of like, what am I going to do for my career? And I didn't know what to do. So my mum suggested for me to travel overseas, and my part-time work at that time was tutoring, and I had a really lovely boss. Her name is Claire, and we did her tutoring, and what was it called? Mindful tutoring, I think it was, but she was super lovely anyway. She was so kind and generous, and she just told me about her experience in Japan and how she loved it, and she really advocated, about the life here, and that kind of, sparked something like, oh, maybe that would be fun, that would be cool. I could learn something new about a culture I don't know. And then that was in December, I think, of 2016. And I had applied for jobs later in December and got accepted in February, and then I was here in May. So it was fast.
Leap of faith, right?
Yeah, it was such a leap of faith. I didn't know no one. I knew one person, and I didn't even know where she lived. I didn't know anything about coming here. And I was like, oh, but I need my Māori fix. So I just messaged Ngā Hauefa Facebook group because I saw it on a Google search. And then once I saw that, I was like, oh, nah, I'm coming to Japan. There's some Māori roots. There's some whānau there.
Yeah.
So I'll go to Japan.
Yeah, man, you know that Ngā Hauefa were the first Kiwis I met when I arrived, randomly at this Pacific Roots Festival in Yokohama. And at the international passenger terminal there, I just went down I Googled, found a festival going on that weekend, went down there, met the Ngā Hauefa. I was so buzzed because I didn't realize that there was a group doing kapahaka and ripping, Aotearoa, performing for Tourism New Zealand. I was like, hey, and because I love Māori performance, and I was just like, yo, this could be something. And then I saw the Samoan community there, and there was a Tongan embassy there. It was amazing, just how you meet, people from back home in a country like Japan.
Right? It how with all this thing going on, when we had our catch up that last time, it just felt so it felt like home, coming back with everybody and just being together and being allowed, Polynesian selves and just laughing and cracking up and talking shit.
Man. Yeah, and honestly, it was just you're right. It was just, it felt like home, and we haven't performed for nearly 2 years, man. It was just we're a bit rusty, eh?
Yeah, I was like, oh, I don't know.
We're like, oh, we need to practice, man. We need to practice. We're losing touch of all those cool songs. I was thinking, I listened to you, speaking reo and stuff like that. And your genealogy and your whakapapa. I was wondering, did you grow up did you go to a kura when or a kohanga, when you were growing up, or?
When I was little, I went to Kohanga, but then we made the big move from to Auckland. So my mom wanted to move to Auckland, and so I went through mainstream schooling since I was young. But I always had my grandparents around and stuff, and they always spoke it, and they, so and just we always went back up home, even though we were living in Auckland for a little while. So always going back to our marae, you know, learning the protocols, the customs, and all that really still kept it alive and stuff. So it would have been nice to go to kura if I, you know, if I ever have, you know, kids and stuff. Like I would like them to go through the kura system. But I think it really does start in the home. You know, you don't have to go to kura if you're learning it at home.
You know, the revival of te reo, you know, Māori language and just the culture, and you see just how proud people are out there ripping in performance and stuff, right? In kapahaka, like, is that exciting for you to see that, you know, there is this revival or a continuation of that? Like you said, it starts in the home, and I guess more people are kind of going back to the whenua, you know, going back to their you know, their roots and actually learning that. Is that exciting for, you know, for someone like you who lives overseas to see, wow, man, you know, a lot of young people, you know, your age are really starting to, you know, try and connect with their roots again, you know, like some people haven't had that exposure like yourself, you know, you had your grandparents, but is that cool for you to see? Like, do you love seeing that kind of stuff online, social media?
Oh, as like I think social media has also made it so accessible for whānau who are overseas, like what is it, TikTok and stuff. Like you have like whānau putting up like kōrero, like learning te reo and phrases, and you know, people who are still learning, reaching out to you know, creators who are fluent, like for advice and stuff. So like there's like no excuse really for
Right.
like not to learn about your culture, 'cause, you know, internet and stuff. It just makes it so accessible.
Right. You know, Te Matatini, which is, you know, the national performing arts, you know, Māori performing arts competition in Aotearoa. Did you perform there growing up? Like, do you know what? I mean, okay, before you answer that question, what memories do you have of kapahaka? Like in your, you know, with your whānau and, you know, growing up around your grandparents. So what are your first memories of poi and, you know, getting in there and dancing with the adults?
Oh, I think, well, my mom and stuff, they're not very kapahaka people, so they never did kapahaka growing up. So, my first memories of actually doing like legit haka were probably at college, um, like competitively, and that was always fun, and it was like really interesting because we went to Kaitaia College, so all of our songs weren't necessarily from where I'm from, but from all over our area, which was cool. You got to learn about our whānau and how we were connected to people who are from Te Rarawa, or how we were connected to people from Ngāti Kahu and all those different iwi that are up in the far north. But like I said before, like Vigata Marae, it's not haka or kapahaka, but like you learn waiata and stuff because there's waiata taupo after people speak, and you learn, you know, your genealogy through different patere and stuff like that would be on usually done on a marae and stuff. So that was always very special and very cool to learn about your own sort of history and stuff through your own waiata and stuff. So that's cool.
And so then Matatini, what are your first memories of that? I mean, man, it looks so dope. Like it's it's just amazing. And I know that every year it just it's like another whole level. They just raising the bar all the time. It's amazing.
No, Matatini is such an awesome experience, like to be a part of, but also to attend. My first campaign was in 2013. It was after I finished college, Kaitaia College, and I was on my way to uni. My teacher at college, I think, she was a part of our local haka group Muri Whenua. And so she sort of did the tono to come and check it out and see what's happening. And that was when my love for kapahaka really grew. It was, you know, I loved the competition of it, you know, but also the community within haka. You know, you ate together, you had these goals to reach, not just on the stage and training, but also like health wise. You know, we were all exercising together and keeping in touch over Facebook, and we had whānau coming from Hamilton, like not even just within area. So it was a chance for us at home to keep the fire going, but also a chance for our whānau who are living in Hamilton or Auckland, even as far as I think some of our whānau were attending uni in Dunedin. They would fly back for training. So the commitment was insane, and it was just everybody there for the kaupapa. Always the kaupapa came first, and that was an awesome energy to be around. So,
you know, I was wondering, can anyone do it? No, what I mean is, is it like competitive where to the point where they select, okay, these are the 20 people or 30, 40? Do you know what I mean? Do you have to audition to be part of the team?
Oh yeah, it is. It's pretty like, so yes, you're a whānau, but also like I gotta work for my spot. I can't let you take my spot. But I love you, but
I'm coming for you.
Yeah, like it's like you know, we're all working together to get the actions for our point, but I'm also like, I need to do it better. I also need to make sure I'm gonna make the line. But
oh man.
You learn so many skills through haka, I think.
Oh, that is, man.
But yeah,
sorry,
it's like
it's exciting.
haka on its own and muri whenua, but like you get to the big stage and you see all these like well-known roku and performers. You're like, oh my gosh, a little bit starstruck. Like all the time on YouTube, or you know. But I think it's very humbling, and it's just an awesome thing to see everybody out there representing where they're from and stuff. So yeah, Matatu is awesome.
You know, there was that group that sang the Samoan song. They were oh my gosh, seriously, if you were just not even watching that but just listening, you wouldn't even know.
Oh,
you know, it was just amazing.
That's so cool. Yeah.
Wow, man. Seriously, sis, that was something else. I was wondering about you know, who are some wahine toa that really kind of like inspired you when you were growing up, you know, as a youngster, or you know, in your community, who were some of the ones that you looked up to and strive to be like them, you know, role models?
Yeah. Who would be my role models? I mean, of course, my mom. My mom, she's like wahine toa as.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't tell her enough, but she knows she's fire. My grandmother, she was just hardworking, and she worked all her life. She lived till she was 94. She was very, you know, within the community, goes to every hui, goes to every kaupapa, went to church every, you know, special occasion. She's very committed to our iwi and just very well known and respected in our rohe. Who else? Who are some other role models? A lot of my friends, when I went to university, I met a lot of people who weren't from where I am from, and got to see how they grew up, and got to visit their hometown, and you know, make all these networks and connections. So I hold my friendships that I made at university in a very high regard. They were very much away from home, living away from home for like 5 years or something. So yeah.
You know, yesterday was Waitangi Day.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, you know, being from the far north, like, did you like hikoi or like go down to you know,
Waitangi?
to Waitangi? Like when you were growing up, like was that you know, being from that part of the North Island, did you guys ever go down there, or did you ever get to visit?
As we probably would go there every year, if not every other year. When I joined up with Muri Whenua, all the haka groups would usually perform there as part of the celebration. So we would go there, or would play sports. So they have touch tournaments and stuff going on at Waitangi. They have people who, do the waka and stuff. So they, participate in that. I never did that. That is still on my bucket list to do. I think that's an awesome experience. But we had, a few years ago, we had our local kura. They did a bit of a thing with the wakas and stuff, and so that was really choice to see, because that's something we didn't really do when we were at kura, when we went there. So that was choice.
You know, I was wondering, I feel like growing up, when they showed like Waitangi, you know, if, on Waitangi they it was real political. You know, the news media would always show, you know, like real negative, the negative side of going to Waitangi. But it's so interesting to hear you say, it sounds like it was more really family orientated kind of environment with lots of really fun activities going on. But we never got to see that. Like the media definitely, from what I can remember growing up, you know, they would definitely show like that real negative side, like angry, you know, tangata
the
whenua
angry
kind of,
Māori
and
you know, and that's quite common, I think, especially at Waitangi. I mean, there is, I mean, it's Waitangi, it's a political thing, it's, you know, so I don't disagree with it being a political thing, but I also think that shouldn't be the only thing that
because they're always showing that like negative connotations of, you know, who or what tangata whenua represent. But when I'm listening to them, like, man, they never showed us all that good stuff, you know, with the whānau down there.
Waitangi Day is fire. It is so fun. So you get all the kai, they have kai stalls, there's like kids jumping off the bridge at Waitangi, swimming. It is a family affair, but it is also a chance for people to debate and bring their kaupapa and to, you know, have their say, which is really awesome. If it's done right.
Do you think that from, you know, like you've gone on to uni, you've studied there, do you think that more is being done now in regards to, you know, the treaty and or is it, do you still think we have a long way to go? You know, personally, where do you stand with that, you know, as a wahine?
I mean, I still think there's more to go. I think, I mean, coming from like when we were at uni, we had you know, Professor Linda Smith. You know, she was like she was part of the, you know, the OGs and stuff who hikoid and, you know, really actually fought for te reo and stuff like that, and they did a lot of hard yards. And to be honest, you know, some people might say we were like we're the lucky generation, that they did a lot of the things that we could have all of these kura kaupapa, and we didn't really get so much of the struggle. So, you know, it's they helped us, but I think that if we lose that fire, you know, how much they have gained for us as a generation, we don't want to lose that. We want to build on it for the next generation and stuff. So yeah, I think we still have a way to go, but I think right steps are being made. There's lots of awesome rangatahi who haven't lost that mindset, who are, you know, continue to fight the good fights and make sure that everyone is accountable, because we don't want people to get mangere and lazy and think, oh, we gave them that, so they should be fine.
Right.
No.
Man, you know, you're an educator, you know, you're Emily the teacher. What has that experience been like for you? Because I know, you know, when you first arrived, you were working for another company, but now you're in I'm pretty sure a happy place. You know, you're hardworking, you know, you're hardworking, sis. Like, how is the job going? You know, are you still enjoying teaching here? You've been here, you know, for a few years now. How's it going for you?
Yeah, I mean, I worked for like an Eikaiwa style, and I like, it was good. I like the people I work with. It was good because I enjoyed the people. I enjoyed the students. My time sort of ran its ends, and I needed something new. So I'm working at an international school, which I'm enjoying. The classes are so lovely. The kids are they're cute kindergarteners. I mean, can you just not like their faces just light up every time you just walk in the room? They just beam happiness. It's like hard not to be not happy when you see them. And my workplace is full of positivity, and they're very understanding and kind, and they are respectful. I really enjoy working with them, all about teamwork and stuff. But as a teaching in Japan, I love it. I love teaching in Japan. I mean, as much as I love teaching in New Zealand, gosh, so much to say, but in New Zealand, right, you got like lots of demographics to deal with, right? You've got, social economic issues and stuff like that, and people have
behavioral issues.
behavioral issues, and that's just part of teaching back home. It's inevitable. You got to deal with it. And teaching here in Japan, you still have, those things, but it may not always be in the classroom as much as probably back home, which allows you to focus on the teaching aspect more than probably the behavioral stuff, which I appreciate, because dealing with the behavioral stuff is necessary back home, and it's hard work for a teacher. I give props for teachers back home, man, because I did that for a couple years before coming to Japan, and it was hard. It was hard, Yaka, but I enjoy being able to focus on the teaching element and stuff. But yeah,
are you able to share a bit of your culture, in language with how much of that are you able to resource type stuff like put into your lessons, or do they celebrate, do they have cultural days and international days, stuff like that? Like how much, have you been able to share
oh yeah,
culture?
hard out. We've been any opportunity that I get, I do try to be like, how can I twist this so I can incorporate some te reo, or so I can teach them a song, or I can teach them something about Māori history and stuff. So like we do ukulele and stuff, so we practice, and we've been learning some Māori waiata, and the kids, because like it's similar to Japanese, right, the pronunciation,
yes.
they're really like, they catch on real quick. And we've been also learning some haka dance and pititoria and poi, like any chance we get, and the kids love it, and the parents love it, because it's something that they wouldn't get otherwise, and the school loves it because they wouldn't, unless somebody knows about it, they wouldn't get that experience for their kids. So I'm really grateful that my school is very supportive of that sort of stuff.
I wanted to ask you about Māori culture and performance, the haka, around the world, like, for example, like football games, when people just kind of like break out in the haka, like, or just, you've seen, I don't know, like, what are your thoughts on that? Like, because I sometimes, no, okay, the reason why I ask is because for me, so, like, to straight up, I love, I love your culture. I love the performance side of it, and the haka, and I just, like, maybe it's because I've been able to like learn from some of you guys, and like when I see like people breaking out at a football game and doing a haka, but it just, I don't know, like I was wondering, because I'm not Māori, so I'm looking at it kind of like, okay, what would Māori people think of this? Or, is it because someone shared with me that there are more pressing problems for Māori than worrying about, how people are doing the haka. That's someone shared that. And I was like, oh, okay. But I think because, I don't know, I was just wondering, like, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I get you, because like everybody has their own perspectives, right? So there's like
Right.
people who are like, they're just trying to learn, which is
Right.
amazing, and we want to encourage it. But there's also people who are like, they should, know where it comes from. They shouldn't just be doing it willy-nilly. They should know the history. They should know who the people, where that came from. And I agree with both. Like, it's so hard. It's like such a gray line, especially when you've lived overseas and you see like there's like when people are doing the haka.
Yeah.
Here in Japan, I haven't seen anybody do it out of like a bad
Disrespect.
intention.
Yeah, they're really
like,
passionate here, right? They love it.
yeah, they just love it because they want to learn more about it. There's not like, I've seen some people overseas where they try and use it for personal gain or like to get the clout or something like that.
I think it's that annoys me. and I'm not Māori, but I'm just like, come on, really?
Right. I want people to love our culture, and I want to want to learn about it, and I don't want to discourage it because because I want to make people whakamā like
right.
like be involved in it, or be like, I'm not Māori, so I can't do it, I can't learn about it. I don't want to have that wall for anybody that's interested in learning. If you have a positive intent, I think that's awesome. If you're, intense a bit wee wawa, money. There's been heaps on like social media, like people from overseas posting it up for clout, and I'm just like, nah, this is not okay.
That's what I'm like. I get what you're like. It makes so much sense what you're saying about, just encouraging that positivity and getting people to learn your culture and love the language and the performance, and knowing that, like, I get that, like, but it's like, it's these random, just like, let me just break out in a haka, and I'm just like, because then I look at it and I'm like, I don't know. Is that like just cultural appropriation? Like anywhere you want, you just want to pop up and do that, like, and not even say the words. I mean, don't be confident to the point. I mean, be confident, but when you're just saying the wrong words,
right? It's like, there's a nice way to like inform whoever is doing it. And like if they receive it positively, that's awesome. I think that's a win. So they understood maybe that was not okay, and you said it in a nice way. But if they come back at you and like want to fight, and then I'm like,
ain't no one want to fight, man. Come on.
I'm trying to be nice about. I'm trying to educate you. I'm trying to help you. I want you to learn, but if you're gonna come at me, we're gonna have problems.
let me stop. People will be like, what a boss, she's not even Māori. Shut up. Okay, let me just stop. Let me just stop ripping for my family, for my whānau. I wanted to ask you, I know I think maybe like last year, maybe 2 years before, you were papatuanuku.org. You were posting a lot about the environment. I mean,
PKP.
actually,
yeah. PKP.
You're posting a lot about the environment. You're a real advocate for, protecting our environment and preserving that. And I was wondering, like, how did you get into that? I know, are you and your friends, are you still?
So PKP is Pipiri Kia Papatuanuku. It's run by these two beautiful humans, Waimirirangi and Tamoko Ospri. And they just had a baby, which is so amazing. They're the true drivers, and they're sort of like friends of friends. So like through the grapevine and stuff. But I just really, any Māori kaupapa that advocates for our tikanga and help us treat our whenua and stuff. I'm all about that. So I wasn't a part of it, but I enjoy supporting anything like that. So if I could post about it, I was posting about it. Every month during on the lead up to Matariki, they hold a PKP month, which is you can decide how much, I suppose, in your capacity that you can contribute to be more environmentally conscious. So you might not eat meat for that month, or you might recycle more, or you might not buy unnecessarily that month, or you might what is it called, like tukino free, so like you still like eat meat and stuff and things like that, but it's more like food that you've gathered yourself. So if you've gone hunting, or if your auntie's gone fishing, she's brought you a fish, kind of thing. So it's really cool because it caters to everybody's level of, you know, what you can do, and it doesn't judge anybody who cannot do the maximum, or, you know, can only do so every small step is celebrated, which is such a cool kaupapa. And, you know, they've really been working hard, and it's been awesome just to see, you know, rangatahi at the forefront driving those sort of things. So yeah, big props to them.
So you've been living in Japan for a few years now. You know, what has been an eye-opening moment for you here in Japan? I know you love to travel. I know you're a foodie. Yeah, what's been, you know, an eye-opening moment for you here?
Japan, eye-opening moment. It's the people, to be honest. Yeah, I've met so many diverse range of people who come from different backgrounds and, you know, different ages. Like one of my best mates who I met at a izakaya, she's like 64. And she's just this like old woman who has like a bajillion bags that walks into this izakaya with this strokey voice, and she doesn't speak any English, but somehow we're able to communicate and we're able to, you know, get along. So now the relationships here has been my favorite thing, and people are so I mean, overall the people are so lovely here.
Yeah.
And the food, of course. I love the food. The food is so cheap. Like you go to a ramen shop, you'll always get good ramen for like less than 700 yen, $7. But if you go back home with ramen, it's like $25 or $30. I'm like, no.
And what have been some of the cool places that you've visited? I mean, it's, you know, when I always ask this question, everyone's like, it's so hard to choose a favorite place. But I mean, can you think of one that favorite place that you've visited?
Where have I been? I liked Nara. I liked Nara. I liked the temple. I don't know. It just felt like, I don't know, what do the Japanese call it? It's like they call it like an energy spot, right? Or something. I can't remember the Japanese for it, but like you just felt like a nice wairua when you went to the temple there. It was just so calming and peaceful. I loved it. And then I really liked, what was it? Nagano Hakuba.
Are you in skiing?
No, we went in the summer, but it was like the most rural I've been in Japan without a car. So like we walked everywhere there, and like you could see all the stars, which apparently is a phenomenon here because people don't really usually see the stars, but you take it for granted.
Right? For real, so like basically in the city, and you know, like honestly, when I go home, like I lie there, I sit on the deck and I look and I'm like, there's stars. Here you can only see the stars in the countryside, like no jokes, man, because that's where it's clean air and everything. And when we went to Kawaguchiko, near Fuji, like just before Christmas, oh my god, it was just beautiful. I felt like I was back home seeing these beautiful stars. We never get to see that here in the city. It's horrible.
Yeah, it sucks.
That's I always say to everyone, man, like you haven't seen Japan until you go into the countryside. Like there's just so much beautiful like mountains and hiking trails and nature and rivers. I mean, it's just amazing. I'm not about the city life, you know.
How's about no one swims in the rivers here though?
What? Well, I don't know about. I think it's the lakes. No one swims in, but the river. You probably haven't been to this river that we always go to in summer. It's the bombs. It's like it's fresh water. Like, oh my god, it's amazeballs for real. Amazing. It is the shiz. And so you are, you have a passion for creativity. You are an indigenous storyteller. You are an artist, the artist behind Pod Creations. Tell us about this passion of yours, sis. You're a creative. So, tell us where did Pod Creations come from? Like, what's your
Yeah.
inspiration behind that?
Well, I've always loved art. I was
Mm,
actually wanting to study art before I became a teacher. That didn't really pan
mm,
out how I wanted to, but it's all good. And then I just missed sort of, being creative. When I was getting into digital media, it was kind of around the time a lot of sort of land back issues and
mm,
protests was happening back home, and like I wasn't there to like be supportive, like kanohi ki te kanohi, face to face. So that was like an opportune moment. I was like, saw people doing art and like trying to get
mm,
the word out about ihu mata. Um, and so I was like, oh, why not be supportive in that way? So um I saw what was happening and I created art and just tried to bring light to what was happening, and
mm,
it was sort of like, that was kind of like, oh, this is cool. This is giving back to, a different kaupapa. It's not just,
mm,
about, my art and whatever I'm doing. So that was choice. And that's kind of where I don't know, I'm still trying to find out what like my direction, but I'd like
mm,
to be able to be an educator and and bring light to different issues. Like at the
mm,
moment I'm not doing any selling, I'm just
mm.
creating and enjoying it. So yeah.
Because I've seen some of your work, and that I actually was going to ask, like, have you, have people reached out because your work is beautiful.
People were like, oh, okay, are you doing commissions, or if I
Mm,
send you this photo, could you digitize it? And like that was really choice. I was like, oh, maybe I can try and do like a
mm,
bit of a side hustle. But I just think I wasn't like mentally in that game, because it's
mm.
like a lot of
Work,
background work. You gotta make
yeah.
sure you got a thing, and like I just like being creative, and I was like, oh, maybe I can make a buck for it. That's cool. But then I was like, oh, this is a lot of
Yeah.
responsibility.
And then you
Because you gotta,
and then you're working a full-time job as well.
yeah,
Yeah, it's tough, like, I think if you weren't working a full-time job, you could definitely, get in there
yeah, hard out.
and
So I just had to sort of, as much as I love creating art, like meeting deadlines and stuff kind of took away, that spark of,
mm,
of like why I enjoy it. So yeah, I just took a break and
good on you.
just started creating art for, why I
Mm.
like art, just because I enjoy it. And then like now I'm just like, oh, maybe one day, but for now I'm okay.
Do you like how do you look after yourself in terms of self-care? You
Mm,
are a teacher, and I'm pretty sure like all of us it can get a bit there's definitely a lot of highlights, but then there's also
mm,
sometimes it's just natural to go through struggles,
yeah,
challenges at work. So how do you look after yourself aside from your creative passions with the art?
yeah. Um, that is a good question. Uh, I
Why does
mean,
everyone say that?
does everyone say that?
All
That's
the
a good question.
creators, they come on and they're like, "That's a good question." I
Nah,
don't.
actual though, like, this year I have made more of a commitment to like take care of myself both
Mm,
physically and mentally, because I think in Japan the work culture here is very different, right, compared to
mhm.
back home. Like it's very like people from back home, we are hard workers. We are hard
Right.
workers, but the Japanese are hard
Like
workers.
neck level,
They they
neck
they
level of
work.
commitment.
It's hard. So like it's definitely like a mental struggle if you're like
Mm,
feeling very overworked or very what was it? Just like, heavy and stuff. So that was my
mm,
commitment to myself this year, was to make sure I go to regular doctor visits, and like if I think something's wrong, like I make that appointment as much as I don't really want to go, and I've been nervous about going, I make sure I go and, you know, get my checkups. And same with mental health. I was talking to my mom recently because we had a few suicides back home actually, which has been very sad. But a lot of our whānau, you know, they don't, some see it as a, you know, a thing to, you know, change, you know, like, oh, we got to talk about these topics, you know, so that, you know, people aren't feeling that way. And there's been a lot of positive outcomes from something so heavy and so sad, which is awesome. But there's also whānau that sort of just, you know, kuhu it and hide it there, you know. So I was talking to my mom and I was like, I'm going to make an intentional and conscious decision to look after my mental health. So getting out there with, you know, trying to find some psychiatrists or, you know, counselors to just talk through just what you did that day, and, you know, having someone to talk to. Like if it's just that, that's cool. If it's diving deeper into relationship issues or how to deal with work-life balance, like I think having those conversations and being conscious about it is, you know, that's like looking after yourself as well. It's not like, sometimes it might be just having a bath with the bath salts
and the candles and all that, for real.
I love that. Yeah, but I also want to make sure that I also be intentional of like looking after my mental health this year. So that has been a shift in me, which is choice, and I think most people should be like, you know, should make those decisions. It should be, everyone would feel better, I feel.
And do you do much reading?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, drop the book recommendations. Let's go.
Guernsey and the Potato Peel Society, I think it's called. It's something like that. That has been that's my mom's favorite book. I love it. It's like romance, kind of old school kind of book. I also read, what is it called? Howl's Moving Castle.
Okay.
I like that one. It's very different from the film. I swear, Ghibli just takes the title and changes everything else because it's totally different from the movie. I was like, the film. What else is good? I actually read, what is it? Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Oh yeah. I haven't, but how was it?
Some things I agreed with, because it's very much like capitalist centric, you know, being the winner, and like some of the things I'm like, oh yeah, that's cool, but like my values don't always match up with it, you know.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. What else has been good? I read this one called it's a Japanese one. When the Coffee Gets Cold. Yeah, that's like a selection of group stories about a coffee shop where you can time travel. It's kind of
yeah, I read that, man. That was so out of it, eh? Yeah. I was like, honestly, what am I reading here? It was so interesting because I've mentioned this before, sis. I struggle to read Japanese books that are translated. Like there's only been one that I read, actually two that I really loved, but a struggle, man. And that book was so weird, but I finished it. I finished it though.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I read that one, and they've got a second book out with that one. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's also very bizarre, but
did you read it already?
Yeah.
Okay, I need to look that up. I'm so curious now. Even though I was so annoyed in that first book, but I'm like, okay, now I'm curious. I'm intrigued. I need to look it up. I'll look it up after this.
Yeah, so that's a good one. What are some other books I've been reading? So many. It's hard to choose. I've been looking at some moon phases. I think I've got the book here because I'm trying to learn more about like the Māori moon phases and stuff. And there's some material out there, but this was probably the one that's like mostly like collated. It's called Living by the Moon. It's a maramataka. It's based in Te Whānau Apanui, so it's not really where I'm from. But like a lot of like the material out there, I think, is based off this book, and it's really cool to like see all the the knowledge and stuff of about how the moon phases sort of line up with us and stuff, and it's really cool. Some people follow it very closely. I don't know much about it, but it's good to learn.
That's cool, man. You sound like you've definitely read a lot. Do you listen to audiobooks? Not really.
Nah, I
really
don't.
Found one that you can connect with.
Nah, I haven't. I do listen to some podcasts though. That's probably as close to audiobooks as I get.
All good. So as we're like about to wrap up, I just was wondering, how long will you be in Japan for? Future goals and aspirations.
Wait, I don't know how long I'm gonna be in Japan. I swear I was only supposed to be here for 1 year.
Yeah, I know we had that conversation already.
Isn't that everyone's conversation? Oh no, I was supposed to only be here for 1 year, but I'm
something like that. Something like that.
I think. How old am I? 27. So
because you love to travel as well. That's why I'm so shocked. I'm shocked you're still here.
I was so pure when COVID came, because like when COVID came, that was my year to do Asia. I haven't done Asia yet. I haven't done Asia still. So hopefully COVID pisses off within the next 2 years so I can do Asia and then go home.
Yes. Oh my God. Can we even get in our country? Oh, that's another story. Let's not go there. I want to see my family, but it's just struggle, man.
I know, man. We all
struggle. Okay, well, before I hand it over to you to drop some words of encouragement, words of wisdom. So it's a Monday night. This is crazy. It's a Monday night. We've both been at work, both teachers, and we know that a teaching day is always a long one. I appreciate you so much for just taking the time out to share a little bit about who you are, where you're from, what you're doing now. It's just I love learning about your language and culture from you. I really just admire what you do. Yeah, in terms of performance, I love performing alongside you. I've just got so many cool memories, and I'm hoping pretty soon that we can perhaps perform again. But yeah, thank you so much for coming through and sharing a little bit about you. It means a lot. But I know that what you've shared tonight is going to be, it will resonate with someone. Your story will resonate with someone. So if you could just drop some words of encouragement or wisdom just for our listeners and the audience, inspire them, sister, inspire them.
Oh, there's a lot of pressure.
Okay, we'll edit that. Just
kidding. Hold on. Okay, so two things that I think that I have always sort of lived by, or that have guided me throughout my journey, whatever it is, and they both have come from my mom. One is always trust your gut. So any situation, because I'm a big vibe person, if I don't feel it, I'm not doing it. If I don't feel you as a person, we're not doing it. Like, my gut is strong. So trust your gut.
That might just be the episode title, actually. No.
My gut is strong. The last one is if it doesn't make you happy, don't do it. Like, you should always do stuff that makes you happy, and that's everything from your job to your relationships, what food you're eating. Whatever it is, if it makes you happy, if you are happy, that's awesome.